Woo! How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Leslie's Loony Life. I looked in the comments. I didn't have but like 2 people comment. That's all right. Well, no. Matter of fact, I think it was 1 person twice, my brother. And he said he wanted to hear more about our childhood. And so we're going to talk about that. Now, why is this so outstanding? Like, don't other people have brothers and stuff too? Why is that something you think you can bring up and talk about on a podcast? Well, there's quite a few different stories involved with me and my brother, or my brother and I, however you want to pronounce it or say it, whatever the grammar is. But for starters, me and my brother, we didn't spend our entire life together. The reason for this is when we were both younger, DSS stepped in and we all got separated. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that today. Try and keep this a little more organized so I don't get off track as much. I actually wrote down some highlight notes. Yeah, I try not to make the same mistake twice. I try to improve off my mistakes, and I listened to the first podcast and I saw a lot of mistakes. And so I'm going to try and fix that. I'm going to work on that, such as I got my lavalier mic working again. So that's good. Hopefully I'm getting good audio. This is my first draft, so we're going to see how this goes. But yeah. So episode 2, what are we going to name this? I guess we'll call this Matt. That was my little brother's nickname. Now, this may become a little confusing, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out the way. I actually named my son, my firstborn, after my little brother. This was before I actually found him. My son's name is William Matthew Childs, and the reason for his name is quite simple. When he was still in his mama's womb, I remember us sitting on the couch before we moved in with her crazy ass sister. But we were sitting on the couch, and I remember looking at her and going, "So what's the name going to be? Like, how do we decide?" Because I mean, I didn't know. And she pretty much let me choose the name for a boy and a girl. I mean, there wasn't much argument or nothing. It was like, okay, those 2 names you want, let's go with those. And the reason I picked William Matthew Childs was actually quite simple. First off, I wanted him to have a very strong name as for his beginning name, because I was not having him getting picked on and shit like I was with a name like Leslie. You wouldn't believe how many times I hear, "Well, did you name him the 4th?" Fuck no, I didn't name my son Leslie Wiley Childs the 4th. The hell I look like letting him go through that shit. So no, I picked out William. I thought William would be like a very bilingual, I don't even know if I'm using that phrase right, but a very versatile name. There we go. I think that's a better word. I think that's what I meant the first time. But what do I mean by versatile? Well, I wanted his first name to be strong and be able to go by different things, because I knew growing up I wanted to have a nickname, because I didn't. So I went by like Les a lot, and everybody else usually just called me Trey, even though my name is Leslie, except for my real family. I mean, not my real family, but my mom's side of the family, which only called me LW, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, getting off topic again. But yeah, and so I wanted him to have a name he can go by different things with. So like William or Will, or as I regrettably found out after he was born, fucking Bill. Like, how you get William and Bill still baffles me to this day, and it's been explained to me several times. If anyone can remind me, please put down in the comments why William somehow translate into fucking Bill. All right. But anyway, William Matthew. Now, Matthew, that's very self-explanatory. I knew I had a brother, or have a brother at the time. I'm trying to speak past tense. And I always loved my brother, and I thought very highly of him. I still think highly of him. And I mean, so Matthew, I mean, it was a no-brainer. I wanted Matthew. I knew I wanted the word Matthew, the name Matthew, in his name somewhere. And then, of course, Charles, because I wanted him to have my last name. Now, it actually wasn't too much longer after my son was born that I found him. Now, the reason I found him is because we got separated. Now, this part's a little foggy, but I want to say I was 13. I was around 13 years old, I believe. And I think he was 5 or turning 5 or 5 turning 6. And before all this happened, before I was staying with my mother, I actually remember the reason I was staying with my mother is because I was nightly, every single night, I made sure of it, crying and screaming my eyes out when I was younger that I wanted to go live with my mother, that I wanted to go stay with my mom, that I missed my mom. I never really got to see my mom much growing up. And the shit that was going on in my father's house, that's a whole nother podcast story for later. The shit that was going on in that house, I wanted to get away from it. I had tried all kinds of stuff. There were things in the future after that I had tried to get away from it, and things horribly, well, not horribly, but things were that I tried were very horrible. Some of them. Almost all of them backfired. But anyway, I would holler and scream all night until I would literally pass myself out from screaming and hollering and crying that I wanted to go stay with my mother. And all I knew was I didn't know much about my mother. The things I did know about my mother in a child's mindset was like, my mom's cool as shit. I mean, she was into dragons, fairies, Mother Nature, witchcraft. One of her best friends, I think she still speaks to him to this day. His name was John, and I remember staying with my mother, and one of her friends would come over, and his name was John, and he would drive this black vehicle, and he would talk and speak and act just like a vampire. Like, that was his thing. He would swear up and down he was a vampire, and I was pretty fucking young at the time. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I was like 11, 12, somewhere around there. And I remember walking to this guy's trunk. This guy, I did not know who he was. My mom thought he was like the shit. And we're walking to this guy's trunk, and he opens it, and it's just full of swords and shit. Like he's trying to be like the white Eminem version of Blade. Like, it was crazy. Where was I going with this? Anyway, I thought my mom was, like, at the time, like, just the coolest person in the world. Like, anything. She was definitely outside the norm. The best way I could describe my mother is a flower. Remember, just think of a flower child, like hippie flower child. Don't fuck with me, Southern attitude. Like, that's pretty much my mom. And so I wanted to take and go stay with her, get out of my father's house. And eventually, I don't know who called who or how they did it. I was usually just locked in my room or heavily medicated. And so I do remember who fucking took me. I think it was Amanda, my stepmother, or for some reason I want to say it was my aunt that took me, but I don't know why. But anyway, somebody took me halfway to where she was, and it was where was it? It was somewhere towards the beach. It was this big old stand. It's real popular in South Carolina, especially if you're on your way to the beach. It got a big old parking lot. They sell all kinds of fireworks. They sell knickknacks. They got candies. They got all kinds of it's a big old gift shop. Big old gift shop. You Google it, you'll find it. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. It's huge. But I remember somebody taking me there and dropping me off. My mother was there waiting in this, oh man, what were they called? They're classic fucking early cars. Minivan. Well, no, not minivan. What was it called? Wagon. Volkswagen. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, and if I remember correctly, she started it with a screwdriver. That's what she picked me up in. I don't. I remember thinking that was odd, but who cares? I'm chilling with my mom, and I can't remember if my little brother was in the car or not. I think he was. He was there waiting for me to get there or something. I can't. Anyway, yeah, because I think by the time I got there, he was asleep. But yeah, that was how I ended up living with my mother, and things were definitely different. Looking back now, I can kind of see where learning how to deal with a kid that you care for and love, yet not quite understand because you're just not around the child all the time. Like, and then also trying to be the parent you envision yourself trying to be. I mean, I can see how the excitement and a lot of the chaos that was going on kind of started. I was, of course, getting in trouble in school immediately. Immediately, I was getting in trouble. And because I was getting in trouble, I wasn't able to do a lot of things that my little brother was getting to do. Because, I mean, he wasn't getting in trouble. But, I mean, it wasn't his fault at the time. It was not his fault at all. It was the way I was perceiving things. All I was seeing was I'm no longer on this comatosing medication. I have so much energy. And all I know so far is being locked down and trying to connive my way out of being locked down. And that was pretty much my existence at my father's. And being medicated while doing it. And so I got into a lot of trouble at school. A lot of trouble. To the point where I think we were about to take and send my ass off to boot camp or something like that. There was but it wasn't all bad though. There was a lot of good things and fond memories I still think of to this day. Questionable, some of them very questionable, such as my mother had my brother and I out in a thunderstorm. Now I don't say thunderstorm as in trying to deduce how dangerous it was. No, I mean there's lightning popping everywhere, and we're out there spinning in a circle in the rain, singing "We All Come from the Goddess," dancing in the rain. Wow, and I don't mean like we're in a shelter and our feet aren't touching any water and we're secure. No, we're in the parking lot of this apartment complex that we're living in at the time in Anderson, dancing in a foot and a half of water where the pileup is, because we're right here on the end where the ditch goes, and it's clogged while it's lightning in a parking lot surrounded by light poles, and you're getting the picture. It was fun at the time. Looking back, kind of questionable. Like, how did I survive? Fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun at the time. It was great, and I still look back on it to this day. But we had a lot of fun. There was this one time, this one kid took my little brother's bike while I was staying there, and my brother looks. I think my brother and I have talked about it before, and he looks back on it as a fond memory of his. Like, I stuck up for my little brother, but I remember thinking at the time using that reason in itself as an excuse to go fight somebody. Like, I was always getting in trouble for getting into fights. I wasn't too good at fighting, but I enjoyed it. It was a release. And so somebody took my little brother's bike. I was like, we about to go hunt this motherfucker down. And so we did. There wasn't no fight or anything. Nothing happened that extreme. I'm not about to fight no parent as young as I was. Like, I ain't, nah. But we walked around, and this wasn't no small apartment complex either. These were like 4-story apartment, 3 or 4-story apartments, and there were a lot of them. If you're going to walk to all of them, you'd spend half your day walking to them and then the other half walking back. But we definitely walked to a lot of them until I think it was on the 2nd floor, and we saw his bike just sitting on the bottom floor. And we went to the first door that it was beside it. We knocked on it, and they said no, that some kid brought it and left it there and wanted his son to watch it for him, that they were friends or something. And so we went and go knock on that door, but nobody answered. And so we went to go leave and with the bike, and the damn parents were actually walking up with their kid. Or was that a different time? There was some kind of intercourse we had with the parents or the parent of the kid. I don't remember seeing the kid, but I remember seeing the parent, and the parent was pissed, but he wasn't really pissed at us. He just wanted us to like go away, and pissed at I guess his son or daughter, whoever took it. Because I don't remember seeing the kid. I do remember being mean to my little brother though. There was a lot of times I picked on him. It was a constant thing. But I didn't do as much to him, not nearly as much to him as I did to my little brother on my father's side. Man, I gave that little boy hell. I remember one time we were playing hide and seek, and then I'm talking about my little brother Travis. There was one time we were playing hide and go seek, and I hid underneath his bed, and he could not find me. And it was time to go to bed, and we were told to go to bed. He went to bed. I'm surprised nobody really looked for me, because usually I'm an issue to go because back then I was an issue to just go to bed. I always wanted to joke around and either fucking scare my little brother, pick on my little brother, or make my little brother laugh. It was always one of those 3 things. And so, like, usually on night times, you'd hear my stepmother talking on the phone in the living room, and I would hear her talk or respond to something on the phone, and then I would jokingly comment to whatever she would be saying loud enough to where she could hear me, and my little brother, who was sleeping in the same room, could hear me. And we would get in trouble all the time for making him laugh. Of course, I would be the one to get in trouble because I was the one, instigating and doing it, but I didn't care. I would always be the one getting in trouble. So I was like, fuck it. I mean, we're having a good time. I'm making my little brother laugh. Fuck you. I didn't care. I remember one time with my little brother Travis. This was before my little sister was born, so we weren't sleeping in the same room. And this was before my parents would take and lock my bedroom with a padlock on the outside of it. So I don't even think I had a door at the time. Maybe I did, but I remember there was a nightlight on the outlet that was right on the outside of my door, and it was for my little brother Travis, so he could get up and go use the bathroom. And I would stay up and make spider shadows in the reflection that would cast right onto this huge wall that's in my father's dining room, because he has like I think a 12-foot ceiling in his dining room. And it would freak my little brother out, and I'd get in so much damn trouble for scaring him. And but no, back to being hiding underneath his bed. I would take and just hide underneath his bed. I would take some pranks way too far sometimes, and then I'm telling these stories now so that my little brother who left the comment can get kind of an idea of honestly what kind of great asshole I was. But I was always mean and shit to my little brother, not so much to my little sister, but because I mean he was the golden child. I mean, he could do no wrong, get in no trouble. I mean, he says he got in trouble a lot, but that was after I started getting out the house. uh he was too young to really understand and comprehend and remember a lot of the shit that was going on because he was being so pampered. I don't even know if he remembers any of it. But anyway, I would wrongfully take a lot of my frustrations and shit out on them, on my little brother. And so sometimes I'll take the pranks just way too far. And this time, nobody bothered to check and see if I went and got into bed yet. And I waited a very long time. I waited for my little brother to like really fall asleep, get comfy. And remind you, I'm underneath his bed. My back's against the floor. My face is facing upward towards the bed. I got just enough room that I'm able to have my knees up underneath, touching his bed, his not his frame, but his mattress, and my feet touching his mattress, not my whole foot, but like my toe. So kind of imagine that if I was crawling on the floor and I had my hands flat and elbows on the ground and my knees on the ground with my toes. You can kind of picture that. Anyway, I'm underneath his bed and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the perfect moment, and I start to hear him snore. And as soon as I heard him snore, I took the bed and I just pushed it as hard as I could. I lifted the bed a good 3 feet above where it was. And while I did that, I just roared as loud as I possibly could. Like I won't say the most horrifying roar you can possibly think of, but like I was pretty fucking convincing. I should have got a Grammy. But he got so scared, I reckon he took the momentum of the bed being as high as it was and jumped. I never saw his feet touch the blue carpet in our bedroom. I did, however, see his one foot touch the border that was separating the hardwood floor and the carpet. And then after that, he was gone. I got my ass beat that night. Deservingly. But from that moment on, that boy would never sleep unless the whole bed around his bed frame was completely covered as far as blocked, windows shut, curtains closed, and closet doors shut. He might still sleep like that. I don't know. I hope not. But probably. And if he does, it's my fault. And I do apologize. I really do. But seriously, I do. Don't even know if you'll ever hear this, but I do. Definitely regret it. Funny as shit, but I definitely regret it. uh, now we got to go over here to the little card that I have. All right, so green one. Okay. Haven't got to that yet. Nope. 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 Damn, there's a lot of shit we still haven't talked about. I need a pen. Where's something I can damn mark this out with? Stuff we have already talked about. I don't know why I'm not going in order, but fuck it. Ooh, yeah. This is something my little brother might actually remember. But there was an alarm. I've never been able to find this alarm since. I haven't really looked, but anytime I'm at like Walmart or something, and I'm in the area, I'll take a gander, and I've never seen it in this area of looking for it. And it was a train alarm that was very convincing, and it would always start off the same. All you'd hear is the little tracks, very soothing actually. Choo 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 choo, and it would get louder and louder and louder, to eventually it would get so loud that you hear a blowhorn blow its horn as loud as it can. And this alarm will get you up. It will terrify the shit out of you. I remember the first time I heard that, I thought a train was coming through our wall. I was convinced that whatever light I was seeing outside our bedroom window was the train, and it was too late to do anything. I damn near shit myself. And to this day, if I hear train tracks, I'll pop right the fuck up. I'm awake. Because in the back of my mind, I'm already hearing the if I'm at train tracks and I hear that train horn, I hate it. I hate it so much. My son loves it. And as soon as I see his smiling little face, look at that train, but I think of my little brother, and I think of that damn train, that train alarm in that bedroom that we had. I hated that damn thing. I think my little brother loved it. I didn't. I hated it. You know what? He might have actually hated it too. Excuse me. Two sisters. We also have two sisters, my brother and I, Margaret and Zena. Now, I actually found my little brother. Have I gone over why we got taken? Matter of fact, I kind of do know why we got taken, but it was strange how it happened, because looking back at it, and I think my mother once told me that she knew that this was someone's about to happen, that somebody had called DSS on her or something. And DSS, for y'all that don't know, is it's like Child Protective Services. But it's for our state and our county and stuff like that. But somebody called DSS on her, and I was already just doing horrible in school, and always getting into trouble, getting into fights, not really giving a fuck. And this was right after Halloween, I believe. And she took and sent me, she gave me a choice. I do remember a choice that either way, she was going to take and send me to, I think it was a DJ, not DJJ. It was some kind of boot camp. I think it was some kind of boot camp. Or I could go stay with a friend. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll go stay with a friend. Fuck this, I'm out. But come to find out, I think they knew that they were gonna everybody was pretty much going to get taken, or she had a gut feeling, and she was like, here's an ultimatum. I'll let you choose. And so I chose to go stay with a friend. Ended up being Terry and Connie, two lesbians, and the best Christmas and worst Christmas I had ever had. Not sure how your Christmas went that Christmas, little bro, but mine actually it was great and terrible at the same time. Because that morning, it was either that morning or the following night. I think it was that morning. Uh, I came down and I saw the most presents I had ever seen for me in my entire fucking life. And for me, that wasn't saying much at all, but there were a lot of fucking presents. And for the life of me, I can't remember whether it happened in the morning or the following morning. But I do remember I got sat down. I think it was, matter of fact, I think it was that evening right before I went to bed, or I was about to go to bed. Yeah, I was about to go to bed, and there was a phone call, and I do believe it was my mother, and she let me know that my brother and my sisters, Margaret and Zena, had just got taken by the ESS, and that she wouldn't. If I'm not mistaken, she was like, she wouldn't be able to keep me anymore either. And she started to apologizing and crying and stuff like that. And I can't remember if she hung up or somebody took the phone from me or I handed them the phone. I do remember I was very upset. And I often wondered about the possibility of just, now think about this for a second. Imagine just taking and walking through Walmart and children a little younger than you, boys or girls, looked about like they could maybe have some of your genetics, and just wondering, is that my little brother I'm walking right past and don't even know it? Or this girl or that girl? What if that's my little sister? What if I've taken several times to the cashier and just said hello, and that ended up being my little sister? Never even fucking knew it. What if I developed this strange habit of going to like the same gas station, and I'm starting to see this same girl come to work around the same time I'm getting gas or getting back from somewhere, whatever. It's a routine thing. And I'm noticing she's got like bruises or like a bruised eye, or like you could tell she's in an abusive relationship. And you try to bring it up and she just keeps brushing it off. I mean, what can you do, you know? What if that chick is my sister? Like, I don't know. It's a messed up thought, but being found after I found my little brother, um, which by the way I found him was pure T fucking luck, pure luck. And what I mean is, I didn't really have much to go on. No, I didn't have no resources. I didn't have money I can put into a private investigator. I didn't have, somebody who go out their way and go, I'll help you out with this. I had a name, I had a place, I had a birthday, and if I needed a social security number. And for the longest time, I still have all this on my Facebook. As a matter of fact, it's the old Facebook. I still have the password and everything to it. But for the longest time, every single month, I would take one day a month and just message all the Jonathans, all the Matthews, all the Freemans, and all the Coreys I could find. Every single one. You know how you could take and type out a message, a pre-written message that you want to send to multiple people, copy and paste, and just keep that in a folder? Well, that's what I did. Eventually, that's what I did. You can go back and look at some very early ones, and I was hand typing out these long ass fucking messages. And eventually, I was like, well, I'm pretty much saying the same thing, so let me just write this in a platform and just take in, copy and paste. And that's what I did all day. And after a few years of doing this, there was a oh man, I had been looking for my little my little brother for a long time. I want to say there were, let's see, he was 4 turning 5 or 5 turning 6. And when I found him, he was about to have his 21st birthday. So that gives you about an idea how long I was looking for him. And I was looking for him for as long as I was out on my own. And I've been out on my own since I was basically 17. Some say 16, but I was always forced to go back home. So I say 17. Anyway. So many stories to tell y'all. But where was I at? But yeah, that's how I was messaging as many Jonathans and every Matthew and every Freeman and every Corey I could find. Every Jonathan, Matthew, Corey, and every Freeman. The reason for this is because at the time he got taken, his name was Jonathan Corey Matthew Freeman. And so we were pretty sure that they had changed his name, which they did, which I'm not going to give that legal name out. If he wants it out, he can put it out, but I'm not going to put it out unless he wants me to. I came across, after doing this so many times, I actually accidentally came across this one guy who finally messaged me back and said that he was touched by my story and he wanted to help me find my little brother. That he apologized that he wasn't who I was looking for. However, he happened to be a private investigator. Now, I still owe this investigator $1,000. And I intend on really blessing this guy one day. But I have not been able to do this yet. If y'all can go back and look at my past stories, y'all be like, yeah, he's been through some shit, going through some shit, still going through some shit, working through some shit. I do apologize, Mr. Matthew Freeman. That was his name. Great guy. I do apologize. I still intend on paying you back. But anyway, he said he said he was going to take the case pro bono, just pay him back. And I was like, absolutely, hell yeah. And so he actually very quickly found him. I don't remember the name of the city that he found him in, but it was still South Carolina. And so, I mean, that paranoia still haunts me today. Like, there was a chance, because I had been all over South Carolina, y'all, living all over the place. And my brother and I actually haven't sat down and talked about all the different places we stayed in or visited and shit like that, just to see if we may have accidentally bumped into each other. But I'm pretty sure that conversation is going to come up one day, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation. But yeah, he actually found him quite quickly. And immediately, I was like, hell yeah, this is great. I finally get to meet my little brother. Now, my expectation on meeting my little brother was, I don't know how to explain it. I guess I had hyped it up so much in my head, and just, everybody has like that one image. Nobody wants their other person to be negative in any kind of way, like that they care about. And when I saw the picture of my brother, I was like, wow, this don't look anything like what I imagined my brother would look like. And I'm pretty sure my brother thought the same thing when he saw me. Like, I have no doubt in my mind. but no, then I met him and I was like, holy shit, we got a lot of shit in fucking common. Like music, interests, hobbies, thoughts, all kinds of shit. But sometimes it's fucking weird because we had spent so much time apart. And before that, we really didn't spend much time together. Before the time that I cried and shit like that to get my way to go stay with my mom, I only stayed with my mother, I think, twice before that. And it wasn't very long. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever I think I've had one birthday, maybe two since I've been older, but with my mother, like actually celebrating my birthday when I was younger and shit. If I did, I don't remember. I had to be really young. But there was a birthday I went to one time. It was right down from my father's, and I happened to be home this time. And this time they stopped by. It was late, and we went down all the way down 151 main highway. Not all the way down, I'm exaggerating, but it was a far distance, according to me at the time, and I was young, so 30 minutes to me felt like forever. But it was a good ways down the road. And I don't think it was Margaret or Zena's birthday, or it may have been, but I know it wasn't my little brother Matthew's birthday. It was somebody's birthday. And it was a trailer. I don't think my mom was staying there. It was a pretty nice trailer, and I can't remember whose birthday it was or anything like that. I remember that being a time that I met my brother. Matter of fact, this was before Margaret and Zena was born, I believe. I think, or they had just turned 1. Fuck it, it's really hard for me to remember because it's bits and pieces, and I was always medicated on medication, and so I don't really have many fond memories and just shit that I normally reflect on. But I do remember there being a birthday. There was another time, I believe, that this was when, yeah, I had ended up staying with y'all, and I mean y'all as far as my brother, and yeah, Margaret and Zena weren't even thought of yet, I don't believe. Yeah, they weren't even thought of yet, and we were staying in this field. It was literally a field, a long dirt road. And I know you remember this road because that I still consider him to be an asshole. This man ain't reached out to me, nothing. Ain't tried to reach out to me or nothing. So fuck him. But this man used to be like Mr. Sard. Like y'all remember Major Payne? Talking about little engine who could chugga chugga choo choo. Yeah. And this man thought he was him. Like, he'd be having me and my little brother. Mind you, at this time, I was probably, how old was I? About 7, 8? My little brother, he was still a baby. he was little. And I remember he'd have us hold books out in our hands while we were standing on books. And if we dropped them, we got popped. I think it was a stick or a ruler or some shit we got popped with. The shit hurt. I remember that. That was fucked up. He would have us run from the porch to the mailbox and back. Now you say, you're probably thinking to yourself, that ain't too bad. All he did was make y'all run. That ain't too bad. Yeah, but what I'm leaving out is he would be behind us with a car. He was an asshole. Anyway, there was some good times there too, though. But some I would pick on him. I remember I would pick on you about this is getting confusing, so I'm just gonna talk as if I'm talking to the audience, because sometimes I try and look at it like I'm talking to my little brother while I'm making this podcast. But I'm just gonna talk as if I'm talking to the dark oblivion. Y'all, I don't know if y'all this mic is picking up in the background, but those are crickets. I am in the woods right now. I am using just 2 spotlights. I am getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Welcome to Leslie's Loony Life. But fuck, what was I talking about just then? Anyway, let's see. Oh shit, gotta make sure I'm still got battery. Oh yeah, we got plenty of battery. All right. I did run out of memory, so I gotta be kind of on the lookout for that. Make sure I don't run out of this. If I do, I'll just jump back on. We'll be right back at it. But see, what was the last thing we were talking about? Shit. Anyway, I would picking on my little brother. Yeah, I'd pick on him too. When we stayed out in that field, he was terrified of airplanes, and I'd be like, "Man, here comes the airplane!" And he would hide underneath the bed and shit. And but I'd also try and make things fun. I would either pick on him, play with him, make him laugh, just like I did with my little brother Travis. But I was able to get away with a lot more at my mother's, and my mother and Pete would sleep in and shit, and me and my little brother, we would get bored, and I would turn the living room into a mattress jumping trampoline world, pretty much, while we were watching Sesame Street. And that's how they would wake up in the morning, to us jumping on, literally bouncing off the walls, bouncing off the walls to tickle me Elmo. There was a lot of times I would try and just make him laugh too, though. It's just my little brother Matt. I was always, I don't know, just something about just always trying to either push somebody's limits or just make their day as happy as possible. Has been my goal. It's one or the other. there's usually no in between, but you get the best of both worlds when you do, when you fuck with me. But yeah, this. And after that, after he found them, I think the detective contacted my mother first, because I had to get the social security number from my mother. And my mother was like, "Well, I want to talk to this guy first." And I was like, "All right, sure. Here's his information." And then they got in contact one another, and then he contacted me, I believe, first with the information. And he was like, "Do you want to talk to this person and find out if this is them?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I remember I was, at the time, where was I at? I think I was staying at my father's. What? No, I think I was just happened to be at my father's at the time. Where was I at? Fuck, I don't remember. I do remember I was at my father's when I found out. And where was I? I was in my father's sunroom, and I'm talking to the private detective, and he's like, "Hold on, I'm gonna put you on hold." And he put my little brother on the phone, and that was my first time speaking to him. And we've been in contact ever since. I've actually been up there to go get him or see him 3 or 4 times now. He stays a good ways away. It takes 2 hours just to go to him, and then 2 hours back. So that's a good little trip. I do plan on going to see him again before we head back out to Texas. we plan on doing a podcast together, which means soon I have to get my son on here because I promised him that he'd be the first person I put on the podcast with me. We're pretty much just gonna shoot the breeze, talk. Y'all wouldn't believe some of the conversations me and him get into. He's he's definitely my little man, that's for sure. And I don't know, it's just it's crazy how it all turned out. It really is, because I got my little brother who lives super far away. I still got my two sisters I can't find. I haven't yet looked and I haven't looked for my sister yet because I honestly I would like to know, but I would not be able to keep that information away from my mother if I knew. And if I was to go out and find them right now, I don't really know of anything to be proud of other than being a father that I could speak of. I can't really speak of from anybody else's point of view, but them leaves falling in the background, y'all fuck with me. I keep thinking something's crawling around back there. I'm just out here. I got this fire over here lit, smothered. That way it smokes. That way I can try and keep some of these mosquitoes away. Get eat the fuck up. Let's see, who else? Talked about John. Yep. Pete. Yeah, I don't like Pete. I do not like Pete. From what I hear, he's not doing too well. That's all I'm gonna say on that. All I know is I didn't like the man. I haven't known the man since. I know the man has been in contact with my mother on several occasions, and has yet to reach out to me, apologize, or anything, or even talk this out. So it's whatever. I don't like him. Let's see. You talked about the train clock. Yes, talked about that. Talked about Pete. Yes, talked about John. That dude was fucking nuts, man. Separated. Yep. Talked about how detective. Yep. Talked about two sisters. Yep. What else? Yep. Talked about the kid taking his bite. No, yeah, that is something else. There was a lot of times I wondered what it'd be like if we grew up together, and I grew up with Ma and y'all, and we didn't get taken. But then I look at, like, our cousins, and I go, maybe it was a good thing, because I mean, in saying that, I do understand the shit I went through. Probably wasn't a good thing, but I mean, no side was really a good outcome that I can see. And so, in a way, I guess I'm grateful that I was kind of brought up looking in. I have wondered often what kind of family you stayed with and stuff like that, because there was one time my mother told me about a time that he got his arm broken or something at one of the foster families he was with, and I was like, well, shit. There was a time he and I moved in with one another as well. This was directly before COVID happened, and things were going pretty good at first, and then I started bugging the fuck out. Yeah, I was definitely, I'm not making excuses here, but like, shit was going down, and I just lost my job. I was only like 1 month ahead on all my bills, if that on some of them. But I mean, I was making good money. So I wasn't worried about it because I was a welder. And I actually graduated top 5 in my class. And the rule was if someone hired you before graduation, you immediately graduated. And Honda hired me not too long before graduation. And so that's where that all started. But yeah, COVID hit and I went to work, and there was this guy standing outside with a thermometer, and he scanned my forehead. It scanned positive for a fever. He told me to stand to the side because it was kind of cool outside, and I stood to the side. And after a few people went by, he asked me to step back up, and he scanned me again. I was still running a fever. Told me to go home. Told me if I went home, go get tested and to keep them updated. And I did. I got tested at the time. I don't know if y'all remember about COVID, but it took about 2 weeks for them to fucking let you know anything. And every fucking day I was calling as I was instructed to do, let them know the update. Still waiting on stuff to come back. And this went on for 4 days, and then after the 4th day I got my test results back, and they said I was positive for COVID. And so I was like, well, shit. And so I had to let them know, and then I had to go up to the doctor's office and basically get that paper saying that and take it up there. So the morning that I went up there to go get it, I had called again as I was instructed to do. I was going to let them know I was on my way to go get it. And they had instructed me that I needed to take and gather up all my gear and my helmet and stuff like that and bring it in when I bring the note, because I no longer have a job. They're having to let me off. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so now I don't have a job. Everyone else is afraid to hire anybody. Sorry about that. They're letting me know that I need to. They're letting everybody know that they're getting laid off, and fired. And so immediately my bills pile up. I lost my truck, lost my trailer, I lost fucking everything, pretty much. Yeah, fucking everything. But anyway, my brother ended up moving back to his foster family, and he's been up there with his girlfriend for a while. They've been together for a long time that I'm familiar with. I can't remember his girlfriend's name to save my life. It's like Lexus or something like that. Alexis, I think it's Alexis. My bad, girl. Sorry. Shout out. I hope I got her name right. Let me know in the comments if you listen to this, if I got your name right. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's pretty much where my brother and I are at now. He has goals and stuff that he's working on and wants to accomplish and achieve. And I have goals and stuff that I want to accomplish and I want to achieve, and we want each other to be involved in it, even if it's just for support. And we've always wanted that. It's been just out of our reach. We've had siblings, but that connection just hasn't been there. And now we get a fresh start, we get a chance, and we're definitely going to take advantage of that. Let's see if there's anything that we've talked about. I talked about the birthday party. Park. What about the park? Oh yeah, the park. Oh man, how did I forget about that? Y'all, this was the best playground you could ever play on, ever. As a kid. Oh my goodness, that I knew of. This park was about a 20-minute walk, No, about a half-hour walk to get to. And once you had to go past this a few damn, I think all the fields we went past were damn soccer fields, a few soccer fields to get to it from the hotels. But there was like a path you could take to get to them. And this playground was amazing. The best playground as a kid I ever played on to this day. And even as an adult, I'd be looking at other playgrounds, comparing them, but like, bitch ass playground. I ain't had shit on the one we played on. That thing was atrociously huge and super fun to play on. And the best time me and my brother had was playing on that playground. Hands down, the most fun we had. There ain't too much we could say about this playground, man. I hope the playground is still there. I would love to take Matthew there, as a matter of fact. I can figure out the name of it. We might actually do that on the way to the playground. That'd be great. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's see, playground. Talked about that. Talked about what ifs. Yeah, we did not talk about the times that I'd have to wake you up and stuff like that. And there was one time you got in trouble because you wanted some cereal, and you kept going to Pete to ask him for cereal, and I forgot what he told you or what was said to you, but you ended up going in there and starting to make your own cereal, and you spilled some milk, and you got your ass beat for spilling milk, when in reality the milk would have never been spilled if somebody would have got the fuck up and poured you a bowl of cereal like, parents would normally fucking do. But our situation wasn't always normal. And I remember getting into it real bad with him and saying things a child shouldn't say. I think it was actually right after that when DJJ, or not DJJ, but Boot Camp was brought up and was like, yeah, we gotta do something with you. You're getting out of hand. I was like, y'all haven't even seen out of hand. I've been behaving. I've been on my actually best behavior. Don't believe me? Go ask the last people I stayed with. But oh fucking A, man. Morning school bus, school stuff like that. Yes. Earliest memory. What is the earliest memory? Yeah, there's two youngest memories I have of my little brother. The first one, I guess, really wouldn't count, but it's when my mom stayed with my little brother's father. Pete is not my little brother's father. Pete is my little sister's father, whatever. So different person. And my mother was staying with my little brother's father, and I think I had an ear infection or something. And I went and laid down on the couch in my mother's lap with my head in her lap, my face facing her pregnant belly, and holding, like, with one hand the top of her belly, and just listening for my little brother Matt to move around. So I guess that would be technically the earliest memory I have of him. Another early memory I have of him, because after that, I wasn't staying with my mother for a while after that. I ended up staying with my father, and there was a time when my little sisters were just being born, and somebody came and picked me up and took me to where my mother was, and I stayed in the part of this hospital where they had like a kitchen for the people staying there and stuff like that. And I remember her microwaving me some eggs in the microwave. And I got to see my little brother then, and I got to see my two sisters for the first time. They were they were actually not doing too well. There were a few difficulties. Both of them made it through fine. But it was very, I believe, touch and go at the time. There was a lot of tension, I remember. They were attached to a lot of different machines and stuff. It was kind of weird seeing at the time and not understanding what was going on. I remember my little brother being there. There's actually a picture I remember my mother having with her all the time, of my little brother Matt holding, I believe it was Margaret and Zena, or one or the other. I can't remember, but it's odd how much my little brother looks like me as young as he was in those photos. That always tripped me out. Fuck, what else? Let's see. What the hell did I spell there? DE Dev Olive. Don't even know what that says. In school. Yep. Wonder what if. Yep. The park. Yep. That was fun. The park is really fun. Birthday party. Yep. That random trailer house. Earliest memories. Yes. Just talked about those. What the hell is this? This is gonna piss me off if I go, oh man, that was a good one. What is this? And see, my dyslexic ass. It looks like D. Darius of. Yeah, fuck. I don't know what it says, y'all. I'm sorry. Looks like we've talked about everything, you guys. Like, damn near just. I think that was a pretty good podcast. If there was anything in this story y'all like some clarifications on, or some topics y'all heard me kind of glance over that y'all would like to hear more about in this episode, just let me know down in the comments. And also, let's see, a few topics that I can kind of glance over right now, that if you want to hear the story and background and shit like that too, I'll kind of go over some little cliff notes I have here and just read off of them and give you kind of like a little highlight of what they are, and if you would like to hear about them. If you do, just message down in the comments. Ex-wife, if you would like to hear about the time I took and married this chick out of a spite just to piss off my father. That was a crazy ass story. If you would like to hear, message down in the comments midget. If you would like to hear how my baby mother took off with a midget. True story. Again, all these stories are true. Then let me know down in the comment. Just message down, midget. Fire. Message in the comment fire if you would like to hear the story about how I burnt down a very large portion of my community. Yeah. Message in the comments, setup. Yep. I had a few counties looking for me at my aunt's house. Didn't even know they were looking for me. And come to find out, it was my father who set my ass up. So you want to hear about that, just message a message in the comments, setup. All right. Going back to my father again, $30,000. Message in the comment, $30,000. That story is actually still going on to this day. But about 2 years ago now, my father stole $30,000 of mine. That would have literally changed my son and I's life. Instead, it ended up my son and I living in and out of my car while trying to do stand-up comedy and be a single father. So much to that story. So fucking much to that story. Uh, so yeah, if you want to hear about that story, just let me know down in the comments. $30,000. I feel like I'm auctioning off my life right here. $30,000 to whoever messaged down in the comments. All right. So if single father, if you like to know some stories about difficulties, the benefits, the pleasures, the joys, the horrifying mistakes, the just all around great time I have being a single father, trying to do it while there's just know there's a lot of stories to talk about that as well. uh Nut House, message down in the comments Nut House if you would like to hear different stories about that as a whole. I will try to put that into one episode. I spent majority of my childhood in and out of the nut houses, so there's a lot of stories there from the time I was 5 years old, you guys. 5 years old until I was 18 and could say 17, 18 years old. No, it was definitely 18 because they had to put me in an adult one, the last one. Until I was 18, I could say I'm not going back anymore. Altogether, 6 years of my life in and out of different ones, some multiple times. But yeah, lots of different stories there. If you have any questions about the stuff in these stories, also let me know in the comments. Y'all, I'm an open book. There's going to be a lot of different stories we could talk about here. There's going to be a lot of upgrades I want to make to this podcast. This is all a learning experience for me. Eventually, I would like to have this podcast. It's already a shitstorm. All right, but I would like to eventually have this podcast done video wise, in a better setting with better conditions, a better environment with different people, maybe a little drop screen, whatever. But I have a actual vision for this podcast. This is just me getting started, getting comfortable, getting going, getting the information out there. Because once this starts going, it's going to start going. All right, and I'm just going to leave it at that and enjoy the ride, and take note of the process. And I'm going to just keep doing that. So, Nut House, if you want to hear about Nut House, just let me know. Retarded Class, if you would like to know all the stories about me and that I have that are related to the retarded class, good, bad, everything that comes with it, very comical shit that most people wouldn't even think to tell you. Just let me know in the comments. Retarded Class, a lot of retarded ass stories are involved here. Runaway Nut House Girl. Well, you know what? That can be involved with Nut House, so we'll just leave that one. Fucked up name. Yeah, there's literally an entire story based off my name. That's not just me being cocky. I have 4 different names: Leslie, LW, Trey, and Les. My mother's side of the family to this day has never called me by my real name, which is why they call me LW. My father's side of the family calls me Trey because I am the third, and the government officials, which I was involved with and around and stuff like that a lot, Leslie, and what friends I usually had call me Les. So there's a real fucked up story behind my name. There's some teasing and shit like that, and just some consequences of being called Leslie Wiley Childs the third. So fucked up name. Leave that in the comments if you'd like to hear more about my name. Leave in the comments dream comedy or comedy dream if you'd like to hear the stories of why I'm trying to become a comedian, why I'm pushing so hard but so little, and where I get my drive from, why I'm doing it. What I think I might be, different than the rest, which is usually what you want. Just let me know. Down in the comments, comedy dream. 4 years no sex. All right, leave that down in the comments. 4 years no sex. It's actually almost going on 5 now. Yeah, no sex, no relationships, nothing at all. I have hit just one after another colossal fucking relationships, and I was like, fuck it, fuck all of it. I'm just gonna focus on my comedy, my son, and that's it. All right, so just leave down in the comments. 4 years no sex. Racist aunt. Yep. From the South, y'all. You know that's got to be in there somewhere. Racist aunt. Yeah, that pretty much speaks for itself. If you want to know about that story, just leave it down in the comments. Half house poor. Okay, so leave down in the comments half house poor if you want to know just how poor I was. And it wasn't always the same level as poor is why I listed this as a category, because it was many different types of poor. It was usually not a good situation that I was in. Like, I'm not going to name which cousin of mine or which aunt of mine, but there was one time I went to stay over there, and half the house was built out of stuff they had stolen out of other houses, as like the doors, the walls, the carpet, all kinds of shit just taken from other people's houses in the neighborhood and just ripping it out of their house and then just putting it onto theirs. But yeah, all kinds of levels of poor. I mean, I've seen it all. There's not much I haven't seen. I'm pretty sure there's a lot I haven't seen, but I've seen a lot of it. Okay. But I've seen a lot of it. And if you'd like to know a lot of my crazy ass stories when it comes to being poor and just how poor and the things I've done being poor, just let me know. And trust me, the stories are just fucking out there. I've definitely done some out there shit while being poor. All right. Let's see. What else is there? I've been trying to stick to these notes. Retarded class, fucked up name, 4 years, racist aunt, half house. Okay, yeah, so for that, just message half house poor. Motivational speeches. Yeah, I've done shit like motivational speech. I've been nominated through Man to Man in a Dead Cave for a Father of the Year award. And I've done this year in particular, I did a lot of things with very little. It's one of the few things in my life that I'm actually proud of. Yeah, just so if you like to hear that story, it's pretty much about the year I had and the things I was doing to accomplish what I did. And so yeah, I'm actually quite proud of that. Let me know down in the comments. It's called motivational speech. You know what? Just know it. Matter of fact, don't leave motivational speech. Leave Father of the Year. If you want to hear about the entire year, just let me know. Father of the Year. Okay, Arch. Let's see. And this is just me testing this way of doing this out. Okay. Eventually, I'll get this down packed and I will stop saying all the time. That'll be great. I'm gonna practice with that. Shotgun father. All right, that's a good one. Wait, arrested and behind back. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Well, let's talk about the shotgun and father one real quick. So leave down in the message, shotgun father, if you'd like to hear the story about how my father tried to shoot me and my aunt with a shotgun. And all we were trying to do was get our money. Yeah, so let me know about that in the comments, shotgun father. All right, we also got Arrested behind. Rested hand behind. Okay. I know what that's talking about now. Yeah, we could talk. Just matter of fact, just put arrested, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about. Matter of fact, we're gonna put. I should have done this beforehand. Yeah. If you want to hear all the times I got arrested, I'll include the one where I got set up. No, you know what? I'll leave that one specifically for that because I'll include all my DJJ ones in that one, MEC and all that. But yeah. So if you want to hear about all the times I was arrested, just message down arrested. I've been arrested quite a few times. There was one time I got arrested. I was told just to get out. I got out the back of the ambulance and I was told to sign something. I signed it, and then I was told hands behind my back. I got arrested and I got walked over to the jail station. Now I say walked over because we were in their parking lot of the sheriff's office and the jail. So they just kind of walked me inside the building. Anyway, there's so many different stories and shit that I've been arrested for and everything. But yeah. Sorry about that. I had to go take me a little piss, I did. But anyway, where were we? We just went over shotgun and arrested. Yeah, so if you want to hear stories about me getting arrested, just put arrested. And I'll definitely do that. If you want to hear the story about how I walked from one state to another, it took me 3.5 days, walked it straight. The only time I stopped was to eat or sleep. Definitely a good story behind that one. And ended up doing it with another homeless stranger. And ended up getting fucked over by this guy. And to this day, if I see anybody that looks like him, I just think to myself, I wonder if that's him. If I punch him, will it be him? Anyway, there's a story behind that. 17 what? 17. Okay. Karen Reed. Oh shit. She So what it's supposed to say, y'all, is I learned how to read when I was 17. I've been getting better, damn it. But yeah, when I was 17, I taught myself how to read when I was in a place called DJJ. If you're from South Carolina, you know what DJJ is. If you're not, look it up. It's basically like a juvenile detention center. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, I was fucking wild. I was out there. Yeah, I went there like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, it's called a DJJ. But yeah, I taught myself how to read when I was there. Couldn't even read the word "the." That was fun. But yeah, I got all kind of stories. Just again, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you have any ways that I might be able to improve on anything, really, I'm open to suggestions. I will definitely take them. I'll always look at whatever you want to say as constructive criticism if it comes off as such. But yeah, I think that's been a pretty good podcast. So yeah, just let me know down in the comments. I actually love speaking with people. I will go back and look at previous episode podcasts. So if you feel like, well, I've already posted. It's been 2, 3, 4 weeks now. He's not going to see this. Yes, I will. I'm deprived for attention at this point. I just need it. I get so lonely sometimes. I just talk to that Chat GPT like, hey, will you talk to me? And she does, or he does. Either way, I enjoy it. But yeah, that's been another episode of Leslie's Loony Life. So yeah, eventually y'all start getting the picture. Like, there's always been some loony shit in my life going on. So yeah. Y'all have a blessed night.